Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaram Kandar Akom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Vridimanti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Nirandaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi
Sundarade Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Andamoye Savadana Mate Bandamoye Savadana Mate Yahara prasade bai e bhavatorya jai Yahara prasade bai e bhavatorya jai Krishna prapti hoyanha hoite Krishna prapti hoyanha hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Korya Aikya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Korya Aikya Arana Koriho Mane Asha Arana Koriho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chakudam dilo je jame jame Prabhu se Chakudam dilo je jame jame Prabhu se Deve gyan hriday prakasheta Deve gyan hriday prakasheta Prema bhakti ahoite avidya vinashayate. Prema bhakti ahoite avidya vinashayate. Vede gaya hara charita. Vede gaya hara charita. Shigaru karuna sindhu adama janara bandhu. Shigaru karuna sindhu adama janara bandhu. Lokena lokera jivana. Lokena lokera jivana. Ha ha Prabhu kora doya deha more pada choya. Ha ha Prabhu kora doya deha more pada choya. Ebeya gosho trebovana. Ebeya gosho trebovana. Shigaru karuna sindhu adama janara bandhu. Shigaru karuna sindhu adama janara bandhu. Lokena lokera jivana. Lokena lokera jivana. Aha Prabhu kora doya deha more pada choya. Ha ha Prabhu kora doya deha more pada choya. Ebeyas gosho trebovana. Srila Prabhupada patita pavana. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ke? Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Pasyacha Deshatarane. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Haribo 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 Nitai Go Haribo Nitai Go Haribo 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 Nitai Go Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Go Haribo Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Outside. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hari Gauranga. Joy Nitai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. प्रसाद। धन्यवाद।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, जमुना तीर वनचारी, जमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे, जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम, जय जगद्गुरु शिल प्रभुपदा जगद्गुरु शिल प्रभुपदा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल और प्रेमानंदी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahapuran, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Brahma's Prayers to Lord Krishna. Text number 46 and 47. 46 doesn't have purport, so we'll recite text 47 and I will read the translation of both in purport. Baraha prasnavanadhatu vichitranga Prodhama venudala shringarava utsavadhya Vatsangrananuga Gita Pavitra Kirti Gopidrik Utsava Drishi Pravesha Goshtham Baraha Prasuna Vanadhatu Vichitra Anga Prodhama Venudala Shangarava Utsavadhya Vatsangrananuga Gita Pavitra Kirti Gopidragotsavadrishi Pravesha Goshtham Baraha Prasuna Vanadhatu Vichitra Anga Prodhama Venudala Shringa Rava Utsavadhya Vatsangranan अनुगीत पवित्र कीर्ति गोपी दृगोत्सव दृशि पविवेश गोष्ठम्
Barha prasuna vanadatu vichit vistanga Prodamadainu dala shringa ratotsavadhya Vatsangrinananga Gita Pavitra Kirti Gopi Drigutsava Drishi Pravidesha Gosham
Mataji's. Baraha with peacock feathers, prasuna flowers, vanadhatu and forest minerals, vichitra decorated, anga his transcendental body, prodama great, venudala made from the branch of a bamboo tree, shringa of the flute, rava by the resounding, utsava with a festival, adya resplendent, vatsan the cows, granan calling, anuga by his companions, Gita sung, pavitra purifying, kirti his glories, gopi of the cowherd woman, drik for the eyes, utsava a festival, drishi the vision of him, Pravivesha, he entered, Gostam, the cow pasture. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation of text 46. Then Lord Rishikesha, smiling, finished his lunch in the company of his cowherd friends. While they were returning from the forest to their homes in Vraja, Lord Krishna showed the cowherd boys the skin of the dead serpent Aghasura. Translation of text 47. Lord Krishna's transcendental body was decorated with peacock feathers and flowers and painted with forest minerals, and his bamboo flute loudly and festively resounded. As he called out to his calves by name, his cowherd boy friends purified the whole world by chanting his glories. Thus, Lord Krishna entered the cow pasture of his father, Nanda Maharaj, and the sight of his beauty at once produced a great festival for the eyes of all the cowherd women. Please repeat. Lord Krishna's transcendental body was decorated with peacock feathers and flowers and painted with forest minerals, and his bamboo flute loudly and festively resounded as he called out to his calves by name. His cowherd boyfriends purified the whole world by chanting his glories. Thus Lord Krishna entered the cow pasture of his father, Nanda Maharaj, and the sight of his beauty at once produced a great festival for the eyes of all the cowherd women. Swami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the gopis mentioned here are the elder cowherd ladies such as Mother Yashoda, who loved Krishna with parental affection. Krishna's cowherd boyfriends were so proud of Krishna's wonderful activities, that while entering the village, they sang all glories. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So today we are in the same chapter which we have been reading for last month probably, the killing of Aghasura, and then Lord Brahma stealing the cowherd boys and the cows and calves, thinking that Krishna he was just confused and amazed how this little boy can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which he knew very well, but out of his curiosity he tried to test. So Aghasura, before Aghasura, Krishna killed many demons. So which was the very first demon Krishna killed? Anyone? First demon Krishna killed? Putana. And the second one? Shakatasura. And the third one? Trinavrata. Fourth one? Bakasura. Fifth one? Aghasura. So there may be something back and forth, but it's okay. At least we know the names. It's important because we are not just reading Bhagavatam. We are taking it to our heart. We are not just reading, we are studying in depth, in detail, and we are trying to memorize things as well. And to memorize things, to study, we have to ask questions. We have to revisit the points, and we have to understand it thoroughly. So now, Aghasura is killed. While Krishna was returning, he showed the cowherd friends the body, the skin of the snake serpent, Aghasura. And then they were returning, and on the way, Krishna saw all the pastures and grounds and everything. So we have seen here in Vrajamandal, there are 12 main forests, and there are many other forests. And here Krishna is talking about lush, green, beautiful forest Vrindavan. One is a forest. And now it has become so much diluted and disappearing forest cover and everything. I asked one of my students to take the satellite images of whole Vrajamandal and do a project. Take the images 40 years back, 20 years back, and now, and do the change detection on the forest cover reduction. And we found that almost 70% of the forest cover has been removed, and we are trying to restore it. So that's another point. We have to keep the legacy of this whole Vrajamandal, so that in the coming 9,500 years, because in this Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya came. Lord Chaitanya doesn't come in every Kali Yuga, but in this particular one, Krishna came as a Lord Chaitanya. Why? Teaching how to reach himself, how to reach Krishna in his own way. He's telling us, Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam. He came as a devotee of Krishna. He's Krishna himself, but he taught us. So and because of his appearance in this Kali Yuga, the holy name of the Lord will be sung in every town and village of the whole world for 10,000 years, and 500 years, almost 500 years have passed. And to maintain this same thing, or rather increase it, because as soon as more as the Kali Yuga is progressing, we are thinking, like I remember, I grew up near Haridwar, and I remember I used to go even the canal, Ganges canal, and I would just take the water and drink it like this, and nothing happening. Even 5-10 years ago, I saw some devotees just drinking right away the water in Mayapur of the Ganga, right away. So still there is some sanctity, but we have to maintain it. And I just want to touch a little bit on, today is our Gantantra Divas, 26 January, 26th of January. And the whole nation is celebrating this 26th January Constitution, Republic of India. And one time I was invited for a talk to speak on our Constitution. And unfortunately, I did not know much about Constitution, but a little bit history that this was compiled, this day, that way, it took 3 years, and then finally it was promoted and promulgated in 1950. But then, because devotees, they try to find out how to connect everything to Krishna, so I connected the Constitution of India to the constitutional position of the living entity, and then spoke about that. So the Constitution means the rules and regulations that must be followed by every citizen of the nation. In the same way, the constitutional position of us, or every living entity, is to serve the Lord. So on this Republic Day of Constitution Day of India, we have to understand that what is our constitutional position. Jivera Swarup Hai Nityara Krishna Das. Our constitutional position is that we are eternally servant of Krishna, God. And to maintain that attitude, to maintain that mood, we have to engage in variety of services are there. Because topmost service, of course, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. But then, because we are conditioned souls and we cannot chant the whole day, then we have to engage in some service. That is our constitutional position. If we do not serve God, we may end up serving dog or family or others or other social causes. But on the other hand, if we see what we have done to this whole world, we have so many things we have made problem. Like when I was in Idaho, there was in USA, there was a big national lab, and they dump the nuclear waste of the whole nation, not the whole, at least from the northwest or the west, they would bring that nuclear waste to that lab. And in the beginning, they did not know what to do. So sometimes they dump it like that. And the river flooded. Big lost river there. And that just flooded over the nuclear waste and came to the Snake River, and people drank all that water. Then they did so many nuclear blasts in the air, in Nevada desert, thinking, oh, it's desert. But then the winds, they blew off and went towards the whole Idaho, Twin Falls and all that, and every single house there has cancer. Now the same thing we are looking into our Punjab and Haryana. They are putting so much pesticide that every home in Haryana and Punjab is witnessing cancer. About 50 years ago, when I was a very young boy, in my hometown, there was a cancer patient. In Anaj Mandi, they had a shop, and I had some connection. So the whole town came to visit, oh, cancer, how it looks, how cancer patient looks. It was just a surprise to everyone. Why cancer? But now it's the talk of the town, talk of the homes. So we just destroyed our own planet. Here Krishna is talking about the greenery and the forest cover and the rivers and the trees and the fruits and the mountains. Beautiful. And what we have done to this whole thing. Now people are trying to preserve it by afforestation. I was involved. Now they are working with, because this Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Koti Shuvashesha Vasudati Vibhuti Bhinnam Tadbhravanishkaram Anantam Shesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Amham Bhajami. Because here we are reading the prayers of Lord Brahma, and of course in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma prayed this way, and he mentioned that in this verse, that this phenomenal world has its own, is temporary, but it's not false. It's there. And it has so many things in there, beautiful landscape, beautiful mountains. But then all these problems that we have destroyed our own planet. Like we teach a course, air and water, air, noise and water pollution, on air, noise and water pollution. So trying to bring awareness. I was involved in a research where we were working on a bacteria which can eat that in the state of Idaho, USA. The nuclear waste is there. Nobody wants to go there because it's radiating. It may cause cancer. So they made a bacteria in the lab which can eat nuclear waste. Look at the powerful thing. Bacteria and viruses, they can be our friends sometimes. So these bacteria that ate the nuclear waste, and then that's how we did the whole remediation. In India also, we are trying. We made a bacteria in Ghaziabad, there is the National Council of Organic Farming. They made a bacteria, and we brought that here also, and we tried to apply in our own land of Gurukula. And that bacteria would eat salinity of the soil and make it fertile. So that's another bacteria. Then, because this is the phenomenal world, the Krishna's creation, and how we can destroy it and how we can revive it, reclaim it, remediations, this is up to us. By bringing awareness, by doing all the research, not to destroy, but to bring it back to its own glory. Like in this change detection study with the satellites in Rajamandal, we are going to submit that report to the government and mentioning that, look, here are the spots which lost their forest cover. You send the funds to the government so that they can a new plantation can be started. Mahant of Madhuban Maholi, behind the Jai Gurudev temple on highway NH2, a Mahant approached me and he asked that here's a Shir Sagar Kund, you come and visit. And we want to restore it. They are now sewage of the houses, sewage drains are coming to the Shir Sagar Kund. And it has now become just a sewage pond. Lost the glory of the whole Shir Sagar Kund. I sent 4 students. They did the whole survey. They prepared the whole report and budget plan and work plan, how that can be rehabilitated. They submit the report to Yogi ji and everything. So the whole point is, we got to work on these things, because 5,000 years ago, so much forest cover, so much clean air, water, no noise pollution, and now what we have done. So these are important things. And then we teach or we discuss best practices of everything. Best practices of a successful business, best practices of a successful professor, best practices of a teaching institution, best practice of a teaching pedagogy that we use is that we ask everyday questions from students, we give them assignments, we give them exams, they take exams, they study every day in the class, day by day, we revise, review, whatever. So many things. Best practices. Projects, grants, consultancies, so that newer technology, newer things which are human friendly, environmental friendly. So now the whole world is looking for the technology which is environmental friendly. Any project that we want to start must be environmental friendly. No cutting of trees. If we cut trees, then we have to plant 10 times more than them. So these are the practices to restore, to revive. Similarly, the best practices in spiritual life. So what are the best practices in spiritual life? Rupa Goswami mentioned. What are the best practices, anyone? Hearing and chanting. And then in the very first verse of Nectar of Instruction, Updeshamrita says, Vacho Vegam. Best practice, control your speech. Manasa Krodh Vegam, control your mind, control your anger. Jiva Vegam, control the urges of tongue. Udra Upastha Vegam, belly and genitals. Best practices. If we follow those best practices, we will be successful, stable. Nice devotee, nice. If anyone would come to our temple, will take a look at us and we are following best practices. They become enthusiastic. By seeing us properly following, doing things with the best practices of his spiritual life, because Updeshamrita is the only single book. Because if we take look at the whole body of Vedic literature, then we look at Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Bhagavad-Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita. If we want to summarize that whole thing, maybe few shloka or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave Shishtastaka. And if we further summarize that whole thing, then Rupa Goswami, Updeshamrita, 666. And then, if we look at Bhakti-Vinod Thakur, he summarized the whole Vedic philosophy in just one verse of his bhajan. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur Doyara Sagara Edase Koruna Kori Chhay Bega Domi Chhay Dosha Shodhi Chhay Guna Deho Dase Chhay Sat Sanga Deho He Amare Boshechi Sange Raj 666. So Bhakti-Vinod Thakur's one bhajan and one paragraph is so powerful, can give us the summary of the whole Vedic or the best practice of the devotional life. He can summarize everything in just one stanza. Chhay Bega Domi. Vacho vegam, manasa krodh vegam, jiva vegam, udara upastha vegam, etan vegan, vishyet vidya sarvam apim, pratim sachishyat. One can make disciples all over the world. Then going further on, what other six things which destroy our bhakti, or what not to do as a practice in spiritual life? Atyahar prayasa, prajalpa niyamagraha, jansangasya lolyam cha, shadbir bhakti vinashyati. Atyahar, over collecting, over endeavoring. Prayas, atyahara, overeating or over collecting. Prayasa, over endeavoring. Atyahar, prayasa. Prajalpa, talking mundane things, filmy gossips, political gossips, gadgets. Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha has two parts. Niyam agraha and niyam agraha. Following spiritual principles, not at all, or following for the sake of following. Niyamagraha. Jansangasya, associating worldly minded people. Lolyam cha, and then we become greedy. So these are the six things which can destroy our bhakti. Then six things which can restore our bhakti, reclaim our bhakti, or increase our bhakti is Utsaha, Nishchay, Dhairya, Tat Karma Pravartanat, Sangatyaga, Satovrati, Shadbir Bhakti, Prasidyati. So, Utsaha, Nishchay, and Dhairya. These three things, of course, all six, but Utsaha, very difficult. Like many students, they are doing PhD under my guidance, and some are part-time, some are full-time, but what is happening? They lose enthusiasm over them. Because when the time passes, we tend to lose enthusiasm. Why? Because we lose our focus. Same with the spiritual life. If we do not tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param. Tivrena. We may have all kinds of desires. We may not have any desires. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama, we have desire for liberation. Then what we do? Never mind. Tivrena bhakti yogena. Intense devotional service. If we do not do that, if we do not involve in intensity is a must. 24 hours a day, we have to think what I have done last 24 hours. We have to review, revisit. I ask my students to write diaries. Anyone who writes diary is a big person, because there he can reflect upon what I have done. If not write, at least review it. How much productive my day was in terms of my chanting my rounds nicely, in terms of my reading something, in terms of my preaching something, in terms of my eating habits, what I have done during last 24 hours. Just simply review it. By reviewing it, we will come to the point that no, I wasn't involved in Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. I was laid back. I was just thinking, maybe I go for book distribution or not, because energy is low. Utsaha, we have to maintain it. How we can maintain it? It comes further on in the same verse, in the association of devotees. Very difficult. We don't want to associate with such devotees who are laid back, who are on life support. They are taking their syringe and they are lying on the bed like a vegetable, We don't want to associate. We want to associate with, like I remember about 20, 22 years ago, I was in a governmental parikrama and there was a brahmachari. And he would just gather all other brahmacharis together. And in the evening, because governmental parikrama is not very tough, it's not a lot of walking like a Rajmandal, but that one brahmachari, he would gather all his friends, brahmachari, together, and in the night when everyone is trying to take a sleep, they would softly read Chaitanya Charitamrita. And they would just discuss, ask questions, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, because they said, we are in governmental parikrama. We have walked whole day around, and we have ate nice prasadam, but now, to more internalize it, to take it further, they were reading. And who was that leading brahmachari? I came to know Mohan Rupa Prabhu, our Delhi temple president. So the point is, because of his serious practicing, because of his serious endeavor, and he got his, like I was watching a video the other day, Amog Leela Prabhu of Dwarka temple, he came with 20-50 bhaktas in Glory of India temple, and they were all doing nice kirtan, chanting and dancing, all brahmacharis back and forth for hours. So much energy, so much enthusiasm, so much power there. Everyone was just feeling elated, enthusiastic, jumping high. All the leaders, they should do organize like this. And we do a lot of activities here in Vrindavan temple itself to maintain the enthusiasm of the devotees. But we have to cooperate. Because if we want, like Nityam Bhagavad Seva here, I thought one day, I have to miss the class. And during the day, I would try to listen somehow this class or that class. But that doesn't happen. If we are fixed on morning Bhagavatam class, at least 1 hour dose of Bhagavatam class is fixed. Morning, 1 glass of, whatever we drink. Or point is, a regulated manner. If it doesn't happen in a regulated manner, very difficult to do it. Like if I don't chant my morning rounds, whole day, even if 4 rounds are left, the quality of those 4 rounds and the struggle to finish those 4 rounds is tremendous. And the morning is so spontaneous, so easy, so focused, without no prajalpa and nothing, you just finish your rounds. That's the power of morning rounds. Most of us follow that. Best practices of devotional life. Updeshamrita, the manual, the book. Hanumat Peshak Swami Maharaj, he carried this book in a small bag on his neck whole day, 24 hours a day, except when he goes to sleep. Why? I asked Maharaj, this is the book? Yes. And he speaks a lot about that books wherever, even in universities he goes on preaching. I went with him several times in all over the places, and wherever he goes, he talks about nectar of wisdom. He says, these six principles are good for everyone. You may be a materialistic people, you may be a spiritual people, they're good for everyone. Vacho Begam, control your speech. If you speak a lot, then people will be after you, will bring you down. So why not? Even in a material life, Vacho Begam, control your speech. That's the point. Then Atyahar Prayasa Prajapani Mahagraha Jansanga se Lolyam Cha Sharvi Bhakti Pranishati, then Utsaha Nishcha Dhairyat. Enthusiastic, always. Enthusiastic doesn't mean that we are foolishly engaged or foolishly enthusiastic. We have to be under the guidance of senior devotees, gurus, and Prabhupada's instructions in the book. Sadhu Shastra Guru, we follow them. Ekanta ki harer bhakti utpataya kalpate. Many times we take decisions based on our own comfort, and we do not get it ratified or verified by senior devotees, and we get into trouble. So it is important, whatever decision we make, whatever path we choose, whatever seva, we take guidance, we take help. We take like an opinion. What do you think, Prabhu? I'm thinking of this. So that is important in spiritual life. We cannot just whimsically decide something and start doing it. And then saying, oh, I am chanting his rounds, I am devotee. No, we have to. So here, because a lot of talk came in this purport here about Maya, Yoga, Mahamaya, Yoga Maya, because Krishna deals with both, and devotees, they are under the shelter of Yoga Maya. Krishna is always in the purview of Yoga Maya, and non-devotees, those who are materialistic, they are under the purview, under the supervision of Mahamaya. Mahamaya is a manifestation Durga, and Yoga Maya is Krishna's internal potency. So devotees and both Yoga Maya and Mahamaya, both they make us forget Krishna. Amazing. Mahamaya, by material external means, we forget Krishna. And what happens to those people who are materialistic? They are under Mahamaya and they get bewildered, and what happens? They forget Krishna. Mrityu sansara sagarat, they fall into the cycle of birth and death. On the other hand, devotees who are always under Yoga Maya, Mother Yashoda, Krishna showed whole universes, Brahmanda in his little mouth, and by effect of Yoga Maya, make her forget that I am God or Krishna or Supreme Personality Godhead. But that increased the love of Mother Yashoda for Krishna. All these wonderful activities like a killing of Aghasura. Here, what they are doing, cowherd boys, gopis, what they are doing? They are talking about it. Oh, we went with Krishna today, and what he did, look. We just entered the mouth of this big Aghasura, and then every day something happens and they talk about that. This machita matgata prana bodhyanti parasparam. Devotees, they always talk about the pastimes and the glories of Lord Krishna. Why? Because they always wanted to stay connected with Krishna. They always wanted to think about Krishna. They always wanted to read about Krishna. This is how, because that is liberating. Our desire to enjoy and for sense gratification, like in this verse it came, 46, it came, Tato Hasan Rishikesho. So Rishikesh, Lord Krishna, the master of everyone's senses. Narad Pancharatra says, Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatena nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesho Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. These Rishik, our senses, our Indriya, they are giving us trouble. They are pulling us like a person having 6 wives. They are all pulling. And we are, we want to go there because they have very nice sambar dosa or whatever. We want to go there. Sometimes people who eat non-veg, they run here and there. They shop that restaurant for eating. Satisfaction of the tongue. But for devotees, they eat only prasadam. So simple. So by eating or honoring only Krishna's prasadam, our tongue, which is very voracious, very vicious, because tongue is the root cause of all problems, in fact. Ata Shri Krishna namadi na bhavet grayam indriya. I do not know. Ata Shri Krishna namadi, na name, form, qualities. Na bhavet grayam, my indriya, my senses do not understand, do not accept, do not feel it. What do? Sevan mukhi jiv ado. To begin with, start with your tongue. And tongue has 2 functions. What are they? Eating and talking. So we honor, eat only Krishna Prasad. And we talk about Krishna, or we connect every single thing with Krishna. That is called yoga, bhakti-yoga. Vasudeva Bhagavati bhakti-yoga prayojita. If we prayojita, if we engage nicely, favorably, under the guidance of devotees, under the association of the devotees, prayojita, what happens? Janayati ashu vairagyam. Ashu means quickly. Janayati means arise. Vairagyam. Bhakti pareshanubhava. Virakti annatra syat. The more I chant, the more I engage in devotional service, the more I associate with devotees, what happens? Virakti annatra syat. I do not want to go for movies or mundane songs or like that. I have no taste left. Jadbadi mama chitta padarvind, Jamunacharya mentioned, when I started chanting the holy names of the Lord, and I think of my family sex life, I feel disgusted and I feel like spitting on it, the thought. Why? Because I'm practicing. It's a whole package. I cannot say that I will do only this. I will come to the temple only at perfect 9 a.m. to take prasad. It's not bad. But the point is, it's the one thing that I want to do. But then, what else? There's so many sevas. We get respect. We get donations. We distribute books because ISKCON is there. Prabhupada is there. If I am not connected with ISKCON, who will care for me? Go to hell. Nobody wants me. They love me, they respect me, they take books from me, they want to associate with me, they give me donations. Why? Because they want me to take the whole thing to Krishna, to temple, to ISKCON, to Prabhupada. Sometimes I may say, oh, somebody gave me 5 lakhs donation. Yes, you are great, but great is ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. If you are connected with ISKCON and Prabhupada, they give you because of that. Never get confused that I am great. Greatness of Prabhupada, greatness of ISKCON. Whatever is happening in my life is because of Srila Prabhupada, an attitude of gratitude. When I come to temple, I feel, seeing bhaktas, I feel very enthusiastic. I look at everyone chanting, dancing nicely, engaged in bhakti. My bhakti becomes 1,000 times more. Just because of the association. And never leave that association, no matter what difficulty and what problem comes. So we'll stop here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, questions and comments, and advice and guidance.
We're trying to be balanced in all our activities. So you mentioned earlier that there are many causes, like pollution of air, water, sound pollution, and environmental issues. And sometimes we get mixed up in various campaigns about why they changed the books, or why this happened, and why that happened. So how much should we dedicate our energy and time to taking care of Krishna's, Mayada chain of property, the material world full of so many problems. So maybe we spend our whole day having campaigns for air pollution and water pollution, recycling, and many things. So what's the balance? How much time do we have to give to those things?
Very nice, practical and logical question. How to balance with our spiritual life and our temple affairs and so many things. And on the other hand, we see, like I remember 2 years ago, some sannyasi from other organization, other mutt, he approached His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj here outside the temple and said, Maharaj, why don't you support, why ISKCON doesn't support the cleanup of Vrindavan and the drains and the polythenes and so many issues are there, why don't you raise funds for that? And so Maharaj, and it will touch upon the question also, this is what the authorized answer could be. He mentioned, yes, we care, we do not try to aggravate the situation further. We don't want to be the cause of the problem any further, degradation of the environment. First of all, we control our own house in a way that we do not cause any problem in the society in terms of air, water and noise pollution. On the other hand, the question was, how do we balance? Like Jar Bharat, he had to take care of that little deer. But what happened, because it came up in one of the classes in the last couple of days in Hindi or English, wherever, what happened? When he was trying to take care of that deer, and he was trying to, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato, oh dear, where you are? Oh dear, where? So he was distracted. He dropped on his own spiritual austerities and practices and daily sadhana. No matter what we do, even in ISKCON, we want to serve in so many ways. And many big sannyasis having thousands of disciples, they always never forget to chant their own rounds. They always maintain their sadhana rising in the morning. I have seen sannyasis and Maharajis, they will preach even up to 12 o'clock or 1 a.m. in the night. Sometimes it happens, or traveling, but like Prabhupada, would travel all over the world. Wherever he would reach, just the local time. He reached 2 a.m., landed for the flight, 4 a.m. is Mangal Arati. Okay, he would not go to bed on it. Start right from the place where he is. So the point is, we have to maintain our sadhana. We have to maintain our own spiritual standards, and of course, we have to maintain this whole thing. But some of us, if we can maintain our sadhana and do this seva, because I have heard in ISKCON, within ISKCON, some people, some devotees, they wanted to help the nation or the whole society by being politically active. They wanted to support this party, that party, this MP, this politician, this political leader, just to make sure that the system is in their opinion. That's also one way. But we have to make sure that we have to ask our senior devotees, take their permission, take their guidance, and we have to maintain our own sadhana. Then whatever little bit time is left, we can do those further sevas of the community, of the society, like we distribute khichdis, and many times we get donation to distribute blankets or the things to the poor people. So we can do those social welfare things, but the biggest welfare is for the tongue, giving them khichdi prasadam for free and giving them the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any other question? Quick. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, comment, Prabhu. It's all right. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your beautiful class. So you have mentioned that we have many holes in our body. One important hole is the mouth. And
Speak louder, it's done. Let's put it closer.
thank you, Prabhu, for your beautiful class. In our whole body, we have 9 holes. One important hole is the mouth. And it has 2 functions, speaking and talking. Srila Prabhupada says, we should not talk anything except Krishna Katha. And we should not eat anything except Krishna Prasadam. And how we can do Krishna Katha? Srila Prabhupada, he has written many books only for us. Srila Prabhupada is a lot of times in Prabhupada house by writing books. We should read his book, we should realize ourselves, and we should help to others. We should read and we should preach. Srila Prabhupada says, our books not for printing and selling. We should read it, we should realize ourselves. and we should help ourselves that we can help others.
Very nice. Very nice point that we should practice our spiritual sadhana. At the same time, we should try to read Srila Prabhupada books and also distribute them. Dadati pratiganati, koyam akhyati prachyati, bhungte bhojate chava, shadbir bhakti, shadbir priti lakshanam. So we associate with devotees, we associate with people, give them book. Yes, Mataji, in the back, please pass on the microphone quickly. Any question in the back? Yes. Yes, Mataji, loudly.
The verse said that I'd like to have the vision again of this moment where Krishna and his friends are looking back in the field. You said there is many oil that says, can we read it again, the verse? Would you read the verse, please?
Class is over. You ask your question. Loudly, please, again, quickly. But class is over, so okay. The verse 47 again? Okay, sure. Barha prasuna vanadhatu vichintranga prodhama venu dalashangara vasavadhya vatsan granana anuga geet pavitra kirtir gopedra utsava drisha pravivesha gostham. Lord Krishna's transcendental body was decorated with peacock feathers and flowers and painted with forest minerals, and his bamboo flute loudly and festively resounded. As he called out to his calves by name, his cowherd boy friends purified the whole world by chanting his glories. Thus Lord Krishna entered the cow pasture of his father, Nanda Maharaj, and the sight of his beauty at once produced a great festival for the eyes of all the cowherd women. Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's amazing. The meter of the Bhagavatam verses, when we sing them, it gives so much.